Welcome to day 3 of diving Dean's Blue Hole. And you'll see this is the most amount of human beings that I've seen while doing these dives here with Kevin. And it's okay. It was actually been mostly nice. Just to have a few more people in the water somehow makes me feel a little safer. I don't know. And this was definitely the best dive yet. So as the trust has been built with Kevin, and then also the trust in my equipment that I'm using, and the science that Kevin is figuring out of how to help me achieve proper weighting, and then just the trust in myself, right, that I can execute certain functions that only I can do, like equalizing my ears, keeping the regulator in my mouth, and mask clearing. You know, Kevin's done a lot of extra stuff that normally, you know, a regular diver pursuing an open diver certification would probably be expected to do right off the bat. I'm not really interested in the certification as much as the results, and I think Kevin knows that and respects that. And when we get there, we'll get there. But I'm not going to be disappointed if I leave the Bahamas not having the certification, because it's not what I came here for. What I came here for was a healing experience, and today was incredible. We went down and got to use, well, first, best mask I've used the whole time, and that really helped because I hate getting water up my nose, and this one just didn't leak. For me, it was a good shape for my face, however a little foggy, but I'll explain why that was actually to my benefit this time, although I will want it to be less foggy next time. As we descended along sort of these, you know, cave walls, I'm sure there's a more technical term for it. I don't know anything, but we'll use that as our descent today instead of the line, because there's quite a lot of people out there doing some free diving and snorkeling and things out there. So we just wanted to create our own little private space. And as we descended, you know, I just kind of really enjoyed that descent today. Because it felt again like this connection with Mother Earth that I cannot describe, and that I don't ever feel like maybe as a child I experienced it. But this dive, and maybe I'm just in the moment, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick to this, that this dive ranks number 3 in the top experiences of my life so far. Number 1 and 2 are really a tie. But the birth of my daughter, the birth of my son, and that dive, I'm hands down, because I was finally at this place where I could let go of fear and really look at coral and fish, and I don't know the names of any of this stuff, but it's so beautiful. And with the regulator, this deep breathing is a key really piece of it all, because it, you know, it's like a forced calm. And then the fear, the descent, you know, the air we're breathing, all of it kind of combines to really put you in the moment. And even then, it's still possible that you can slip out of it. But today, I really felt like I was in it. And Kevin was an amazing guide at steering me into directions of here, sit here and look for a bit. Okay, now look over there. Now look up at the light. Look. And with the fogginess of my lenses, nothing was super sharp that was farther away, but I could see the form of some bigger sea creatures down there, not many, And that did not intimidate me at all. And again, it felt like I was in the womb. And but this time, and all this probably sounds so freaking crazy to people, but that's my journey, and it is what it is. I felt like the earth, again, repeating, saying, you are my child, and now descend into me, into my womb, and you are worthy to see my secrets, is what I felt she was saying. And sometimes I'm on the verge still of a cry, but then I'm on the verge of a laughter with joy too. This is kind of where I'm at right now, teeter-tottering, maybe away a little more from the crying a little bit to joy. And I feel like she was just saying, come look at the depths of this space, you beautiful mother, you who brought these beautiful children into the world and did such a good job mothering them despite your circumstances, and your heart is so beautiful and it matches my heart, and so you're worthy to be here and to look at the delicateness of all this life down here and draw apart from the madness and stupidity and just bullshit of the human world that we all have to endure, and depart from it and be here with me. A lot of people have a lot of fear over stuff that's in the water, and I get it because I still sometimes struggle with it too. But the more I go down there, especially with someone I trust like Kevin, the less fear I feel, and in fact I end up feeling no fear at all. And it's not the kind of fear that's like, okay, well, I have no fear, so I'm gonna go do something stupid. It's a complete and utter reverence for the beauty of each tiny little creature and life form. And all I wanna do is sit in awe of it. I think that I am a very gentle flipper. Try not to be too excitable. I don't wanna be noticed too much. I just want to be a quiet observer, breathing in and out, and keeping my hands off stuff, not kicking things where they don't need to go, and being able to have some sense of control as I am looking at stuff. And we really got to look at the walls and then these beautiful fish, and I find myself looking at them and sort of mimicking their motions and sort of like joining them in the dance that they're having underwater, and really loving being in the moment with them. There is a big stingray down there that's probably the width of my 3.5-year-old son, about to be 4. And it doesn't scare me. He's just down there underneath the sun, or underneath the sand, his eyes peeking out, taking a nap. And I'd be able to look at him from above and just be really quiet and watch and pay respect to that beautiful life form. And so anyways, it was a really great dive. And the more that we go, the more I start to feel this enormous sense of not only appreciation for the earth, but for myself, because something keeps saying to me, you're worthy, you're my child, come now, be healed. Look at what I am showing you. You're deserving to know all my secrets. You are capable of incredible things when it comes to the world of diving. And I want you to begin to show you that. I think I'll dive the rest of my life, honestly. The dives are always feeling too short. I wish they could last longer. And when we did make our ascent back up, it felt first a little bit emotional when we took off the masks, and he said, well, how was that? And I felt like I'm so awestruck that I don't know whether to cry, or I don't even think there's words to define what that was for me. But then Kevin did a really good thing. I said, well, I think I meditated better than I ever have this whole time, and that was really beautiful for me. And he's like, yeah, it's not fucking hard, is it? he called, it's not rocket surgery is what he said. I just died laughing. I was laughing so hard, and almost just a stupid amount of laughter, because it really isn't that funny. But it was really funny, because it's like, yeah, you know, meditating is so hard for me to do with such an anxious, you know, traumatic brain. But down there to achieve it, it's like, whoa, it didn't feel so hard, did it? But we had good conditions, great water, great clarity, a very experienced dive master who I've built a lot of trust in, and now this spiritual piece of it that's happening, and the continuing trust building that I'm having, and the confidence building that I'm having. So I don't want to keep blabbing on and on and on, but I seriously still think I could do this every day for a year and walk out of here a different woman. And I have lived my life constantly trying to be 5 steps ahead of danger because of shit that's happened, and living my life as a performance-based existence. Like, I've got something to prove. I had straight A's in school. I had a number of accomplishments. I didn't experience a shred of joy with that as I did there. And as Kevin's wife Audrey says, you know, scuba is the only true sport, because it's not a competition. You think of any other sport and there's some kind of, you know, challenge or contest, you know, to see who can do it the best. And scuba doesn't have that at all. So gone, eliminated. It's not about that anymore. Now it's about being. And what I'm realizing is that my natural state of being can be summed up as gentleness. That I am a gentle, fragile, beautiful person in the depths of my soul, and that comes from a place that is so gentle and perfect and beautiful. And we are the same, you know, and sometimes the words aren't enough. When I feel like the Earth Mother is talking to me, she's like, the love isn't even beginning to cut what it is that I feel. You are just, you're cut right from me, and to me you will return, and you and we are this. And I don't want to get too over ecstatic, because I realize that there's dangers in scuba, right? You can't just go into it thinking, well, Mother Earth's going to protect me. But I do think I do have a certain amount of gentleness, respect, and consideration. And even if something crazy were to happen one day, then that's what it was supposed to be. And I don't have anything to fear, you know? I definitely want my kids to experience the constant state of awe and wonderment. And I know that that is not really achievable 100% of the time in the world that we live in. But if they can get it in as much as possible, you know, in these formative years, and then figure out how to have a lifestyle that balances making a living doing whatever they love, and making time to go scuba diving or rock climbing or skydiving or whatever it is that gives them that same feeling that I had here, then I think that's, you know, one of the 5 ways I've done my job, so to speak. And, you know, Kevin, I told him, you know, you make me feel safe. And he said, well, then I've done my job. And I'm like, well, that's the only compliment you're going to get out of me. Just kidding. No, Kevin is the shit. And anybody who's ever said anything about him in a negative light is a complete moron. And his intentions and his purposes are pure, good, and come from a place of just wanting people to love life, you know, and not be trapped in a state of trauma. And I just have the utmost respect for him and his beautiful wife. Both of them are incredible people. And for this place, for Dean's Blue Hole, and the magic, the spirituality, and just the plain perfect conditions to have a beautiful experience, no matter what you believe, even if you believe nothing, which I don't. I pick up on energy, and I'm very sensitive to it. So to be here was really nice, because it's pretty gentle. And with that said, I see that this video is getting close to 15 minutes, which is a lot longer than I've ever posted, and I've tried very hard to keep these things brief, but for anyone who's watching, I don't give a damn. Take it or don't. My kids are the ones that I want to watch this one day, because they've seen me in a dark spot. And they're so empathic. My kids are really sensitive people. They know when something's wrong. So when something right is happening and good and beautiful, then I will spend an hour talking about it if I have to, because I want them to know their mother was capable of moving out of that dark place. And should anything ever happen to them on this earth that I don't have control over, that they can find a way to draw back to the source of all things before there was form and void, in the depths of the ocean, you know, to the earth, to whatever it is that whatever words they use to describe whatever spiritual experience, emotional experience they have. I just want them to know that there's always hope. Always hope. Never Chloe, never Gavin, never disbelieve that there isn't hope. And why I had to go through any of this stuff, you know, I asked that question when I'm down there. I'm like, you know, Earth Mother, if you're talking to me, why did I have to go through the abuse and the neglect? And she didn't really give an answer. Instead, it was more of an image of the beginning of life and how it all started and how it all evolved. And it just is what it is. And you take from it what you take, and you shift your focus back to the beauty of being alive. And let all that slip away and remember what your real source is. Whatever you want to call it, there. And then nothing that ever happened to you really fucking matters, you know, because are now having beautiful experiences, and you can have them over and over and over for as long as you live in the body and under the name that you have, which to her doesn't matter. It's your heart that matters. And so I'll keep reflecting, but I better shut up because now it's going on 18 minutes. So thank you to Kevin. Even if we stopped here today and he did no more work with me, I would be in debt to him and his wife for eternity. But luckily, we have a lot more dives to look forward to, and I'm really excited for that. So thank you to everyone who's supported me in being able to come here and giving your money and your time, and to my mother who's taking care of my kids. It's a gift that I hope I'll be able to pay forward to who she decides to pay it forward to. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye-bye.